Hello, and welcome back to another show on the future of work and the future of talent. This is actually our second session, and we're going to take a look at the needs of the young versus the needs of the more senior people like CMOs. I think you may know from tuning in before that over the last several months, certainly the future of work and the future of talent have been big topics. What we're doing is we're talking about how they affect each other, and we're doing so with two experts who you've met before. One is Tim Mickelborough of the Global Marketing Exchange, and the other is Barney Loehnis, who has a wonderful consultancy. I was intrigued by one of the comments that we got in our recent study on the future of work and the future of talent. And someone actually commented, this is a time to rethink the business and bring new talent to accelerate the new vision. Now, I'd be curious as how you both interpret that statement. On the one hand, they might mean this is a time to focus on new ways to engage colleagues in meaningful ways, or is it an opportunity to grow a stronger culture and get rid of old-fashioned stereotypes like, oh, that's the way we always did it mentality? Or is it something else?
I mean, my basic answer to that question is always yes. I mean, in that I think it's actually less passive than the question suggests. And I think companies wouldn't it be nice to rethink our business now when we have, I don't know, perhaps the pandemic has allowed them to sort of, in metaphorically, take foot off the gas. I think absolutely not. I think they've become forced to rethink. If they haven't been directly disrupted and affected in a negative way by the pandemic, then companies around them in their competitive set or their suppliers or their supply chain will have certainly been, or their market has certainly been disrupted. So if they're not thinking about it, if they're not planning to innovate and quickly, then I'm not sure what business they're in. But I think it's been forced rather than a luxury of sitting back, and is absolutely something that they need to get on the front foot for. In terms of creating a culture of innovation, I think that's also a necessity, because those that don't innovate in this kind of current climate are the ones that are going to struggle faster than the ones that are, that do.
Any thoughts on that, Barney?
My response, Deb, is to think about it in terms of sort of fluid talent in some ways. I mean, one of the struggles is that you can't continue to build in-house resource. But when you have got a lot of exciting marketing programs going on, you just have to find bodies to bring to the task. Now, sometimes the agency model just doesn't work. They're too sort of fat around the edges and too slow. And I think one of the interesting opportunities that we have now when everyone is remote, but also just emerging, is this notion that you can hire sort of gig posses of teams of highly skilled people who you can point at a key growth program and say, do this for 6 months. And so I think some of those kind of gig-driven platforms that enable you to hire super talented people, sometimes the most talented people, to put onto a project for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it may be, is a great opportunity for marketers. I think whether it's Freelancer or Fiverr or Upwork or whatever it is, some of those platforms are also fabulous for outsourcing great copywriting, simple production skills, simple, image development. So I think when I think about new opportunities as a marketer, I think about it as one of access to new talent. And I think that's particularly exciting. And in some ways, the separation that we've got in quarantine is helping fueled that. So it's helping CMOs think, well, okay, maybe it's not so important. Maybe I can tap into new resources and they don't have to be sort of physically co-located. So I think that's exciting. It's forcing people to overcome prejudices that they might have had in the past, and look at new engagement models for, augmenting team skills from other people.